Hey everyone, I go by Red Cuisine, and today I'm here to teach you how to play Zenonzard. So if you're interested, then stay tuned and I'll have that coming right up for you. Okay, so since the game isn't really out yet in global, it's gonna be hard to give a proper tutorial, but I have compiled a guide together of the rules of Zenonzard, and hopefully this can teach you how to play. So if you're new, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be making more Zenonzard content for you. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome and thank you for watching my video even if you already know how to play. Maybe you'll learn something new. Alright, so now let's get on to the rules. Zenonzard is a competitive card game where players battle one another by using their minions on the field to attack their opponent until one of them proves victorious. You win Zenonzard by reducing your opponent's life to 0, or having your opponent start their turn with no cards in their deck. There is a mill deck in Zenonzard, so you're going to have to watch out for that and know this rule. There are 3 card types in Zenonzard: Field Minions, Base Minions, and Magic. There are also 9 different forces to choose from when deck building. Feel free to pause the video if you want to stop and read any of the card anatomy I'm about to go over. Field Minion cards will take center stage in your strategy as they're used to attack the opponent and defend against enemy attacks. Field Minions are summoned to the field during the main phase by paying the required cost. They're used in battle to attack and block enemy attacks. You can also turn Field Minions on the field into mana by moving them to the base. Base Minion cards play a crucial role in Zenonzard as they act as the mana used to pay the cost for playing your cards. Base Minions are placed from the hand to the base during the mana phase and can be used as mana to activate or summon different cards. You can also attack with Base Minions by moving them from the base to the field. Base Minions cannot be summoned directly from the hand to the field. If you want a more in-depth guide on Base Minions, check out the video on my channel here. Magic cards have effects that activate immediately after playing them from your hand. They can only be used once before being placed in the trash, but they can also be the key to turning the tables on your opponent. Magic cards activate when you play them after paying the required cost. On the cards, you'll find their effects, as well as what phase of the game they can be used in. Cards with main written on them can be used during the main phase, and those with flash can be used during the flash phase. If they have both written on them, obviously they can be used in both phases of battle. Forces are objects available from the start of the game that support players by providing special effects. The number written on each of the player's forces is that force's health, otherwise known as force points. Much like the player's life, forces can be attacked and will be destroyed if their force points reach 0. A force's ability will not activate if the force is in rest state. Once a force has been destroyed, its when destroyed effect will activate, after which it will no longer have an effect on the battle. If you want a more in-depth guide to the 9 forces in Zenonzard, I also have a video posted here. Go ahead and check that out if you're more interested. The game starts by players revealing which forces they chose. Then add the force points together and subtract that from 12 to get your life total. Then you randomly decide who goes first, draw 6 cards from the top of your deck and replace them with any cards you don't want from the top of your deck, and then shuffle your deck. Once you're both ready, the game begins with the mana phase. The Zenonzard battles start with the turn player going first, after which player alternate turns. Each turn is comprised of the following 4 parts: the standby phase, the mana phase, the main phase, and the end phase. The standby phase is comprised of the start, refresh, and draw steps and will proceed in that order. During the start step, you begin your turn. You receive 1 movement. The player going first will not have any movements on their first turn. Then you refresh all of your forces, minions on the field, and cards in your base by putting them in the active state. Then you draw 1 card from the top of your deck. The player going first cannot draw a card on their first turn. Players can only have up to 10 cards in their hand. Any extra cards will immediately be sent to the trash. Next is the mana phase. You can choose to do one of 3 actions: place a base minion, place a neutral mana, or do nothing. To place a base minion, you simply choose a base minion from your hand and place it in your base. To play a neutral mana, you can use anything you like to represent a neutral mana. You just place it in your base. In the mobile game, they'll be using little colorless diamonds. The base can only hold up to 10 cards. If you already have 10 cards in your base, you have to discard a card from your base to replace it with a new one. If you decide to replace a neutral mana, it's removed from the game completely. It's just used as a marker to represent one colorless mana. Next up is the main phase. Here's where all the fun stuff happens. During the main phase, you can summon a minion, activate magic, move a minion, or attack with a minion. You can also choose to do nothing and move on to the end phase. You can summon a field minion card from your hand by paying the required cost. You can have up to 5 minions on the field. You can activate magic cards in your hand by paying the required cost and placing them directly into the trash after activation. In order to use a card, you have to pay the required costs. Card costs are comprised of 2 types. They're colored costs, which require a specific color of mana to be paid, and basic costs, which can be paid with mana of any color. As you can see over here, the player is about to play Greg Smasher by using 3 mana because it costs 3, followed by the Two-Tailed Cat, which costs 2 mana. Take note that the Chimera Force allows the player to use neutral mana as mana of any color during their turn. Players receive 1 movement at the beginning of each turn, which can be used to send a minion in the field to the base, or a mana in the base to the field. Cards in active or rest state stay in the same state when moved. Minions moved to the field can attack or block. However, if the opponent still has a force, base minions attack are limited to the opponent's forces during their first turn in the base. Minions moved from the field to the base can be used as mana to pay the cost of playing cards. As you can see in the demonstration, the player uses their movement for the turn to move their opponent from the field to their base, giving them an extra mana to use next turn. During your turn, you can attack your opponent's life or force with the minions on your field. You can't attack other minions in Zenonzard. An attack starts off with selecting a target, moving on to the flash phase, then the block phase, then the battle commences, and then you resolve anything that happens after the attack. You can select 1 field minion to attack at a time, and they must be in the active state. Here's how you attack. You choose the minion to attack with and put it in the rest state. Then you select a target for your attack, either your opponent's life or one of their forces. Once again, you cannot attack minions in Zenonzard. If the attacking minion has a when attacking ability, its effect activates here. One thing to note is that aside from cards already on the field or in the base at the start of your turn, your minion's attacks are limited to your opponent's forces. If your opponent still has a force, field minions cannot attack the opponent's life on the turn they were summoned from the hand. Likewise, base minions cannot attack the opponent's life on the same turn they were placed in the base. In both cases, minions can only attack the opponent's forces. During the flash phase, you can use magic cards with flash effects or minion cards with a swoop ability. If a card does not meet those requirements, it cannot be used during the flash phase. The defending player is first given a chance to play a card. Once that card's effects have been activated, or the defending player chooses to do nothing and pass, the attacking player can also play a card. If both the attacking player and the defending player do nothing, the flash phase will end. Then we move on to the block phase. When your opponent attacks one of your forces of life, you can choose to block their attack with a minion. The defending player may select one of their minions in the active state to block the attack, or they can choose to do nothing and take damage. If you choose to block, put the blocking minion in the rest state. When your blocking minion has a when blocking ability, this effect activates here. Once you decide whether or not to block, a battle will commence. This battle will determine the results of the attack. If you decide to block, a battle between minions will begin. During battle, the minion with the lower BP will be destroyed. If both minions have the same BP, they're both destroyed. Destroyed cards must be placed in the trash. If you choose not to block, one of your forces or life will take damage. The amount of damage received is equivalent to attacking a minion's DP. That amount will then be subtracted from your life or from the force points of your force. Once the force points reach 0, that force is destroyed. Once the player's life reaches 0, that player is lost. After the attack, the battle has concluded. Any effects active during battle become inactive here. After an attack, the main phase continues and players may choose to summon or move a minion, attack, or activate magic. A force is destroyed when its force points reach 0. The force will then activate its when destroyed effect, after which the player must flip it over. Force effects become inactive once the force is destroyed. In the mobile game, you won't be flipping the force over, it will just be destroyed. Once both of the opponent's forces have been destroyed, minions can attack the opponent's life on the same turn they've been summoned to the field or placed in the base. One thing to note is that all forces share the same when destroyed skill. You search your deck for one base minion card, place it into your base and shuffle, and then draw one card from your deck. This adds a layer of complexity to the game, as you need to decide whether it's worth it to destroy your opponent's force by letting them get ahead in mana and card advantage. Next is the end phase. All the end of your turn effects activate. Your on your turn effects are lost. All your movements are lost. And once you finish everything, the opponent can begin their turn. Then players go back and forth, proceeding through the phases until a winner is declared. I hope that this video was helpful to somebody out there. Thank you for watching. Click my next video to see what I've got coming up, and check out the other Zenonzard guides on my channel. Then be sure to subscribe for more Zenonzard content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.